Good morning, everyone. And in fact, net zero, that's one of the critical area has been in talk for quite last 4 or 5 years. And that's been one of the topic which number of countries had been focusing upon for last couple of years. And let's hope that we would reach to some level of net zero emissions. But prior to that, let me welcome the elite panel. Let me welcome Padma Bhushan, Dr. Kirit Parekh. He's been one of the leading energy economist, energy technology person. He's done his doctorate from MIT, Massachusetts. Also, I welcome Manu Srivastava. Manu. In fact, one of the great qualification about Manu I know is that he's been amongst the 20 top JEE toppers, and I think you did your JEE in 1984, where you stood at 19th rank in JEE. And he, in fact, did his BTech from IIT Delhi. Now he is the principal secretary to Government of Madhya Pradesh, New and Renewable Energy. I also welcome Anurag Sharma, Director Onshore of ONGC. He is graduated from elite Motilal Nehru. Now it is known as National Institute of Technology, and he has a lot of laurels on him as far as ONGC's production of oil and gas is concerned. I also welcome Mr. Faizul Rahman, and in fact, he's been doing quite a lot of work on the emission reduction. So yesterday, I had been looking at the accounting of the energy transition as also the climate change, and as to what has happened in India over the last 13 years since 2009, when at COP15 at Copenhagen, India submitted its intentions to reduce emission intensities of economy or GDP by 20 to 24% by 2020 and 30 to 33% by 2030. Now that's about 13 years back. That was in 2009, where we submitted our intention to reduce emission intensities of economy. And along with us, the 4 other BRIC nations, China, Brazil, South Africa, and Russia also submitted at that point in time in 2009 to reduce emission intensities of GDP ranging from 20% to 45%. China, of course, submitted at that point in time 45% reduction in emission intensities of GDP. Now, subsequently, 5 years later, we came at COP21 Paris Agreement, where 196 countries ratified on reducing emission intensities of GDP ranging from 20% going up to 40-45% or so. Now, that was a great achievement at COP21, where almost all the countries across the world ratified to climate change goals to reduce emission intensities. Of course, subsequently, under the Trump administration, USA walked out of the climate treaty of Paris, but yes, now in Biden's regime, they have rejoined it. And then, now we are into the COP26, but in between, a number of countries have, especially the OECD and the European countries and Japan, they have announced the net zero by 2050. By and large, of course, the countries, the OECD countries, Scandinavian countries, they have announced net zero by 2050. The China announced their net zeros by 2060, and at COP26, we, India, have the last year at Glasgow, we announced net zero by 2017. Now, as a part of Paris Agreement, we had committed to some nationally determined contributions, which were quite exhaustive, covering all the sectors, energy, ecology, and also the economy side, to reduce emission intensities of GDP, so as to really reach some part of net zero goal, what has been announced at COP26 at Glasgow. But yes, I was just also looking at some of the NDCs, the nationally determined contributions, what had been worked out as a part of the Paris COP21 agreement. Yes, since we have announced net zero by 2017, 2070 at Glasgow, we will have to relook at the NDCs submitted at COP21 Paris Agreement. Now, these are some of the things, but yes, the emission reduction is the responsibilities of all citizens, all industries, as well as the government, and I think everyone would be doing quite well. One of the important things which I would like to inform is that we did announce reducing emission intensities of GDP at COP21, that's the Paris Agreement, to the level of 30 to 35%, but that level we already reached by 2022, and now we have enhanced that reducing emission intensities of GDP or economy to 45% by 2030. So that's one of the goals which we have been reaching. We would reach that goal even a little prior to 2030 also, because we have also announced 500 megawatt creation of renewable energy by 2030. So let's hope that we reach that level by that time. And yes, number of industries, number of government agencies, including the sequestration side, the Forest Research Institute, the Department of Forest, they've been doing quite a lot for the carbon sequestration under a program called the Green India Mission, where the government has allocated 48,000 crores of money to enhance the green cover, which was reduced from 35% to 21-22%, and that has to be reclaimed to about 35% going forward in the next 15 to 20 years. And yes, a number of states have been given their seed money to enhance the forest cover, which have been depleted over the last 50 years. So these are some of the critical initiatives which we would be taking going forward. And yes, one has to look into the aspect as to how we really complete the goal of reaching the net zero by 2070, and where everyone should be party to it, including citizens. Now, one of the important thing which we wanted to announce is that at this conference on day 2, we have a complete session on clean energy innovation appreciation, where the young professionals are going to showcase innovations created by them as a part of the startups, many of which could become unicorns in next couple of years or next one decade. I wish them all the best for such an initiative and taking up climate change and reducing emissions in a big way going forward. So yes, there is a lot happening as far as reducing emissions are concerned. And I wish that, yes, we really aggressively take up the issue of reducing emissions so that we could reach the net zero goal by 2017 or prior to that itself. Thank you very much.